Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fit4Lyfe Lifestyle Podcast. I am Anthony Changes, and today I am rejoined again by my favorite, the Mistrust the Process herself, Coach and Sandy Goes Tachi. What's going on, Coach?
The favorites.
Yes.
I like that. For now, right? For now. All is good. We're excited. New week, right? Mm-hmm. We just officially finished up.
Officially.
What are we at? Week 10, 11, 12?
11.
It just keeps going. We just keep going on and on and on with this challenge. But officially, I have made the announcement. No more. No more New Year, New You challenge. You guys have to go. Bye.
Yeah, she's evicting us from a Facebook group.
Pretty sure I gained weight during this whole challenge. But, it's all good weight.
Good weight.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with that for the rest of my life. Like, I gained good weight this week. So
yeah.
It's fine.
But you lost weight.
I did.
You lost weight. I mean, you might not have lost exactly the amount that you wanted to.
No.
Or that you had, I guess, originally thought was going to happen, right?
Right, but I did develop some really good habits. So I think I'm most ecstatic about that. And then, I also did fast a little bit before Saturday night's festivities, and then I paid for it Sunday morning when I stepped on that scale, but it's cool.
I'm sure. You and Mr. Lars. I was thinking about Lars. You guys don't know and didn't see, we had an event on Saturday nights, and we did a finale, I don't know what you call it, grub and hang out or whatever it was. So we kind of just hung out, announced the winners, all that stuff, and everybody got to eat some good barbecue.
Delicious.
It was like these people didn't eat the whole 7, 8, 9 weeks of this challenge.
Right, and then
because some of you guys...
Yeah.
I was about to pull out my food scale.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely the first in line, and I have no shame in that. But when I got my first plate, I came and sat back down, and I was like, okay, well, let me not go so hard on this first plate. Let everyone get some food and not be the hungry, gluttonous human being that I've been in my entire life. And then I started looking at other people's plates. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I shortchanged myself. And then, I didn't want to wait for seconds, and then that's when Coach Derek was like, bro, get up and eat.
Yeah.
I know you didn't have enough. I was like, I love you so much, Coach.
Thank you. Permission. Thanks for giving me permission to go get it.
Right.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. I hope
Delicious.
there's a lot of food left over that we had to take to our house.
Why? I mean, but you chose that life. You could have hit me up and been like, hey,
we did.
You want to take some?
We did have some on Sunday, and Jason all doctored it up and put some all crazy stuff in it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is nice.
Jason definitely tugged on my fat side and during that evening, because he was like, let me show you how to make a good sandwich. And then he takes me that slab of garlic bread.
He
and he's
showed you.
Yeah, he did. And I was trying not to salivate the whole time. And then I'm looking at it, I was like, I can't do this. And I did not.
Good for you. In the moment.
I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to so bad.
Yeah, but it was good. We had a good time, and then you had your awesome performance.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. If you guys didn't check it out already, make sure you do on Instagram, on our what are those called? The live stories, feeds, or whatever they're called.
It's the IG Live.
Is that what it's called? IG Live?
I think so.
Something like that.
Stories? I don't know.
Yeah. So it's IGTV. That's what it's called.
Boom.
IGTV.
Thank you.
So it's on there, the whole thing, captioned and everything. So you guys don't even need the volume, but you have to use volume because it's better with volume. But that was a really, really good, awesome.
Thank you.
Did it take you a long time to do that?
It took me a few hours to get it the way I wanted it to. But yeah, from beginning to end, it was just a few hours.
That's cool. Yeah, that was really good.
But I think my favorite part was listening to your laughter in the video.
Constant. I
loved it.
It was awesome. I could not stop. I watched that probably at least 5 or 6 times since then.
Same.
Because it's just so funny, and it's just so, it really highlights so much of, because I think in the moment, a lot of us, we just get so involved and in all the stuff that we have to cut out and all the work and all the frustrations and the challenge. And then you listen to the jokes afterwards, and it's oh my gosh, this is so on point and so accurate. And it was the best. It was great.
Thank you.
So thank you.
It was my pleasure.
We're going to do that again.
Whenever I will host every event. As long if I can do that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Now, I remember when going into that, I was approached about hey, if you wanted 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes to do a comedy set, you're more than welcome to. And I struggled. I had plenty of jokes and things that I wanted to tell, but I ended up feeling a stand-up set would be too, I don't know, it almost felt selfish of me to get up there and tell jokes, you know. So I felt like I could have focused on my fitness journey to this point, which was the original plan, but everything I wrote, I just wasn't happy with. And then, you know, time crunch hit, and I was like, you know what, like, maybe if I write a poem about everyone's experience in this thing, you know, it'll reach a lot more people, and it'll be something that everyone can embrace.
Right.
Because I couldn't find enough jokes to talk about this specific challenge to incorporate in my stand-up. Getting to those lines where I was mentioning the fiasco with the scale and like the using the syringes for salad, those were my favorite parts. Absolutely.
Oh, it was so on point. The scale thing, I laughed internally and externally so much because I remember that day when they got on that scale, and I have my poor admins here that you guys beat up, and they're texting me crying. Just kidding. They weren't crying. They weren't crying. But they were so like, I don't, Sandy, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? I'm like, listen, you tell them the scale is right. And that's it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're not happy. But the scale is right. And when I got in here that morning, I jumped on that damn scale to make sure it was right. I'm like, it's right.
Leave my admins alone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I get it, because a lot of times we do have this expectation of something, and we're like working so hard, and we're like, shit, I'm cutting out this, I'm not drinking, I'm not eating no fried foods, no
2 pounds,
pizza.
that's it.
Right? In 2 weeks?
Right.
The hell is wrong? But then it was like, I think on the back end part, everybody saw like those major changes, which like some of you guys came in hot, you know, in the very end. And even like, for example, like Katie Dade, the queen of
Queen of Miami.
Queen of Miami Dade.
Yeah. Right.
And even her, like the last 2 weeks was just like, she couldn't believe it. She was like, oh my gosh. And even those pictures, like those transformation pictures, were awesome. Yeah. Which, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Shout out to everyone that voted.
Yeah, we did a transformation contest as well. So that way we kind of gave the opportunity to people that didn't necessarily want to lose weight, but maybe just wanted to participate in the challenge. So at the very end, we took the side-by-sides to those people that took first pictures and last pictures, and with approval, put them in the group. Everybody voted. So that was really cool, because I think you and also Christina that won were all like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like how cool.
As you were reading the comments that people left, I was like, man, they keep mentioning me and Christina. And I was like, you know what, like I voted for Christina.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, I definitely felt like she had the best transformation. I'm like, they keep saying my name, and I'm over here like sitting in the corner like, stop. I don't like, stop it. And then to find out that people had voted enough times for me to win, that felt tremendous.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. So that was a really fun event. It really makes me want to do this again in the fall, maybe. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
we'll call it so, right?
I'm excited. Because we talked about that a couple episodes ago, where I was like, so is there a chance we could do this later on to like reinforce everything we've learned?
Yeah.
Just like no scale gate, no
right.
no syringe gate, you know, salad dressings.
Yeah, I think now finishing it and then doing that event and all of us getting together, that what really motivates me to like do this again, because that part is the fun part. Yeah, you know, and you get to like finish it up and really hear the stories and how people have changed so much and things that they never thought was possible. Like here they are, like, wow, can't believe I can actually eat and like lose weight and achieve the body that I want, type of thing. Right. So that motivates me to like, all right, let's figure out a way to do this again to keep everybody back on track.
I love it. You know, and especially, excuse me, with the event, you know, seeing everyone come together and have a really good time celebrating the struggles, I think was kind of the best part. You know, like I had spent, it had been maybe a week or two after the challenge, and saying, you know, the amount of weight that I lost, you know, I was bummed, you know, and I think that can be expected, you know, for a few different people to be bummed with your results, especially when you feel like you've given it your all and whatnot. But it wasn't until seeing those photos that I was really able to see, like, wow, okay, so that's only a 5-pound difference, but like the way those 5 pounds look on my body is completely different than I had anticipated. And you know, it was good to get that reinforcement that, like, okay, like, it's not just the number on the scale. You mean, like, people tell you, you know, there are non-scale victories that will count more than the scale victories, but it's not until it is in your face that you can actually appreciate it. You know, and I had reached out to a couple of people and explained to them, like, I'm not upset that I lost 5 pounds. That should be celebrated. But it's because I was losing on average of 10 pounds a month when I was just doing Noom and working out here.
Right.
So then to come in here and give these macros now a challenge, to feel like my weight loss was slowed, that at least that progress, I felt like I was working against my body.
Right.
But it wasn't until having a conversation with you that you made me realize, like, yes, your progress has slowed as far as the number on the scale goes,
right?
But you're now fueling your body for these intense workouts that you're doing, especially since I'm coming to the gym at least 6 times a week.
Yep.
So I just want to plus.
People making you do a plus an extra 5Ks.
Yeah, right. Oh, listen, okay, so there it is, and there it is right there. Here we go.
See, we just lead right into it. That's how it is.
Just jump in head first. What is it? The Tachi training method? Like, don't train, just go right into it.
Not my training method.
Right.
Ever.
But yes, so speaking of 5Ks, the undercover coaches have struck again.
They're coming for you.
Chris has made his grand return, and immediately, it's ironic because last year, March 1st, was the first time that I'd ever run a 5K before I even knew what a 5K was.
They just hit you with a 5K on March 1st?
Yep.
On the Go the Extra Mile?
Yep.
Mr. Chris?
Chris leaned into my ear like February 20-something and was like...
28 and a half?
Yeah, he's like, you might want to start running. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he was like, you'll find out in March. And I remember texting you like, the fuck is going on in March that like I need to start running? And it wasn't very far into March that I realized, okay, that just like this month, this year, we're in the Go the Extra Mile challenge on top of March Madness. Like, you hitting us with a double whammy.
Always.
It's like both ends of the rainbow.
Always.
I mean, this pot of gold here is the Go the Extra Mile, and this pot of gold is the March Madness.
I gotta give you those opportunities to do 1, 2, whatever you're gonna do.
Right, especially after that challenge. It's like, okay, you guys want to eat all this good food? Okay, sweet, because in March...
We'll get you. Wait till April.
Right. And I had never run a 5K. To be honest, I didn't even know what a 5K was. And I asked them, I was like, what's a 5K? And they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll show you. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the people I'm running with. I'm like, I got Coach Espy and I got Coach Chris. They're not, folks, they are not employed by the gym. They are not actual coaches, but they will make you work just like any other coach.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm still working on finding out who's who. But yeah, they ended up having me run a 5K.
And that was over in Pines, right?
Yeah, back in Pines.
So what was that? What was that like? Did they just tell you like, "Hey, show up at
Well, it started off with the Sunday Run Club.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was a Sunday.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, on Sundays.
And Sunday Fun Day Run Day hits. It's still dark out because the time hadn't changed, or maybe it had just changed. But either way, I show up that morning, and it's everybody. That the normal participants, but it was me, Coach SB, and Coach Chris. I'm gonna just keep calling them coaches at this point. But they were waiting on me, and they're like, "Okay, so this is the route that we're gonna go. We'll go at your pace. Don't stop. You can slow down if you need to, but just don't stop." Okay, now mind you, like the farthest I had ever run at that point in my life was maybe a mile, without stopping. So I start jogging with them, and like, I'll never forget, SB turned on, she's like, your shoes sound really heavy. I'm like, baby, everything about me is heavy. Like, my shoes.
This is me.
This is me. And I'm like heavy foot the entire way. And I could tell it seemed like it was kind of annoying her. Like she's like, pick your feet up. I'm like, I'm fat. You can't tell me to keep going and pick my feet up and not make these loud noises. But yeah, so it was good. So I kept running, and then as we get to the finish line or back to the gym and start hitting that last 10th of a mile, Chris is there waiting, he's filming us running from behind us, and then like there's pictures of him putting the medal around my neck like I had just finished running a marathon, and it was good. It was a great experience.
Do you remember how? Because I know it's been a while now. Do you remember how you felt afterwards? Like, were you like aching and sore and things like that?
Not terribly so, because I didn't. I continued with the. Not necessarily the run club. Like, I avoided any kind of K after that. Like, my alphabet went down to 25 letters after that day. But, I continued going the extra mile even as coronavirus was kicking off.
Yeah.
And, started doing the whole virtual workouts and going for at least a mile walk after.
Right.
But I don't remember being terribly sore, but I do remember feeling extremely accomplished.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I remember I was like, oh, what? I ran a surprise 5K. I remember telling people, they're like, you know, that's only 3 miles, right? I'm like, you know, I don't give a fuck how you feel, right?
Right?
I'm fat.
Do you realize I've never run more than...
Right. I run late and I run my mouth. That is
That's about it.
Right.
When it comes to a 5K, I don't know about that.
I might not run if my life is in danger. So, like, this is an accomplishment for me.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, though, because, you know, I know that, like, right now we're in the March Go the Extra Mile, you know, challenge that we have every year. Right. And we try to encourage everybody to do, you know, run that mile before class or after class, with class in between as well. So we try to get everybody involved to do those types of things. But a lot of people sometimes, you know, they want to run, not really sure how to run. In your situation, you were forced to run.
Right.
It was like, hey, by the way,
my life wasn't even in danger.
Just show up and we're going to do this 5K. So I know there's a lot of questions that we get, which I'm sure maybe you have as well, or maybe have heard when it comes to just like running in general.
Yeah.
You know, what are some things that you think that, I guess that you've questioned, like with running? Like I know there's like specific things as far as like, you know, 1, where do I start? 2, like shoes, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, did you just kind of like, I mean, you just kind of jumped into it.
Jumped right into it. Like, and it was explained to me that the shoes that I had on were not good. Just because they got a Nike check on them don't mean that they're made for running.
For running,
Shout out to Nike. I will always have a love for Nike, but like,
me too.
those aren't, at least those Air Maxes weren't for running. Yeah. And I remember Coach Derek coming up to me and being like, hey man, you got to get some like actual running shoes, get fitted, and you know, have your stride and whatnot looked at, and I did. After, you know, you guys surprised me after that last one. It was like I ran the first 5K, and then I think it was my second or third 5K. Actually, I think I ran 4 miles that time.
Yeah, it was here. It was here. I remember it was right outside here at Cooper City.
And I had that bright ass orange long ass T-shirt, looked like a moo-moo. Like I was sweaty, and you know the thing I remember most about that particular run was that Coach Derek kept coming back. So like he would keep his pace, and then he would run forward, and then he would come back and, you know, and then run with me for a little bit. You know, once I like slowed down and needed to either jog or walk at a fast pace, he would take off again, and he would come back for me, go and come back. So he ended up running like 268 miles that day.
Yeah.
Just to keep coming and get, you know, coming back for me.
Ran a full marathon that day.
Easy. And then running back up here, and like there's a circle of people, and you guys testing my gangster, try to get me to cry. And
we tried.
You tried, and I was real close. I cried in the car on the way home for sure. I was like, man, this, because if you guys don't know, they ended up presenting me with a gift card to Runner's Depot.
Yeah. To
get a pair of sneakers, because Coach Derek was like, man, we got to get you some shoes, and I told him, I was like, man, I don't make a whole lot of money, big dog. Like, I'm already paying money to come here. Like, I can't. I'm gonna have to run in these, or not run at all. Like, I cannot run at all if that's
cool.
If I can't run in these shoes and I can't run at all, like that's fine. And he was like, no, you gonna end up running. And you guys got me that gift card, and I was extremely grateful. And that's when I really felt like blessed into the Fit4Lyfe family.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
And and then SB showed me, on top of, as far as questions having, you know, to deal with running, breathing. You know, how to take 2 breaths in on one stride and 2 breaths out on the next stride.
Right. Yeah, I mean, all those little things make the biggest difference, you know? And, I mean, coming from someone like myself, I'm not gonna, should I say I'm not a runner as well?
Hey, listen. Like, I don't condone violence, but, like, if you and Jason both say you're not a runner, like, this, like,
it's gonna end.
My life is a lie.
That's it. Yeah. No. I would definitely say, you know, and the interesting enough thing is, out of all the races and the marathons and the 5Ks and the whatever ridiculous amount of miles that we've done, I hate running. Like, hate it. Yeah. I do not like it whatsoever. The reason why I do it is because it's such an accomplishment afterwards, because I don't like to do it. So from that first step, honestly, I don't like it. Everything hurts, just like I'm sure everything hurts with you when you start taking that first step. Like, I just don't like it. I don't like it. all day long, I could come in this gym and jump around and do burpees all day long and whatever, lift weights and stuff like that. But when it comes to running, I absolutely hate it. I hate it. It's just not something that I truly enjoy to do. But I do it because it's such an accomplishment, and you got to put yourself in those situations in order to get better and to get stronger and stuff. I know some of the first things is definitely like shoes. That's a huge, huge thing that you got to look into, because you can't be running in the same shoes that you work out in the gym.
No.
The tread on the bottom is different, and it's made that way. And then also in here, like in the gym, when you're doing movements from right to left, flipping all around, doing all these things, handstands, and who knows what we're making you do, break dancers, and all these bear crawls and crab crawls and all those things. It's not the same movement as running straight, in your shoes and the tread. It all wears differently. So if you don't get the right shoes, it can hurt you. It can hurt you, your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips. Everything, because running is a lot of pounding on your knees and your body. That's why a lot of times when you run, you don't necessarily feel like in the moments like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, but hours later you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm tired
and hungry,
right? I'm real tired, because you burn so much, because it's straight cardio, so you're burning a lot of calories, and then it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, so you ache more. So the biggest thing is shoes, and get fitted. Make sure you get fitted from like a proper place.
Well, I had when I got fitted, it was right at the beginning of everything getting shut down. So it's like I had to wait a few weeks for them to be able to open up, and it was a by appointment only, and only one person could be at the store at a time. And even then, like, we all had masks
I didn't
on.
know that.
Yeah. So when I went to go get fitted, it was all very quick, and I don't want to say rushed, but it was definitely cautious and socially distanced. So it was like, those fit? Great. They feel good?
Okay.
Cash? How we paying this? Like, right? So, I paid and I bought the shirt, and, I was still excited, but I did feel after buying that pair, my knee hurting running in them, but I eventually the pain went away, and I think that was just because my body wasn't used to running in shoes like that, and because I was able to run in them after, and no pain. But like I remember the first time I went running in them, I was like, oh my god, like the third or fourth step, I was like, ooh,
this needs to work.
This is sharp. I was like, ooh, I think I bought the wrong pair, and buddy over there is not gonna want to sell me a new one. I was like, I have to make this work. But eventually that pain went away. Yeah,
the great thing about getting fitted is that they do they put you on the treadmill and stuff like that and watch you? No. Do they watch you run or anything?
They didn't watch me run, but they watched me. Well, he was like, put these on and then walk at least 6 feet away from me.
And I'm sure that kind of stinks too, because I'm sure that was the beginning, and so everybody was super like on edge and like being very, very cautious, because nobody had an idea what was going on. In most cases, though, you go in there and they have like 2 treadmills at this Runners Depot. Shout out to Runners Depot, because they are awesome. But
they rock.
They do have some. They have treadmills here that they'll put you on, and they'll watch you, walk, and then they'll watch you run, and then you can run a couple strides back and forth. But that's really important too, because everybody obviously runs different, walks differently, has different form and things like that, and it makes all the difference with your shoes, big time. Like for me, I have a very, very small, like the millimeter drop from the front to the back of the shoe is extremely small, because I'm a toe runner, so my heel never hits the ground ever. And I also need to have something like super, super light, because I'm running like prancing.
Yeah. You know who else runs like that? Espy runs like that. Espy runs on her. She
does.
And I think Sabah might too, but I could be wrong.
Yes, Sabah does as well. Yes, and it's interesting to watch and see. But that makes a huge difference too, because for me, because I'm a toe runner, I have to be careful with my toes and like the front of my feet. So unfortunately, the more miles I run, the worse my feet are, and the more my pedicure artist person's like, ooh. Last time when I went, she just made the comment and was like, oh, so much better. Really?
Like I don't mind working on these feet. Last time's feet.
Listen, I already know, and I get it, and these are the things that come with running, and this sometimes people don't talk about these things. Feet issues, GI issues.
We'll get
there. There are lots of things to talk about with running, because people don't realize, honestly, I compare it a lot to having a baby, because people don't tell you the aftermath of after you have a baby and you go home and you're like, The hell is going on here? Nobody ever told me about this.
Right. Did I just pee myself a little bit? Like...
Yeah. So things like that, nobody shares that information. This is important information, you know, because you have to like prepare yourself for certain things. So getting fitted is like the first thing.
Right.
Shoes, getting fitted.
Step one.
Even if you don't buy from Runner's Depot, just get fitted and understand your feet and understand. And you may not determine what shoe you need in the first pair either. It may take a couple times for you to figure out like, okay, this. But honestly, if you have any aches or pains, knee, hip pain, things like that, try another pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Because I had my shoes, they discontinued my shoes from Brooks. They discontinued them. They no longer make them. And I had to try a different pair. And immediately after the first run, I felt it like in my hips and the outside of my legs. Like they just hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So then I had to find something else.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
I just ordered a new pair of Brooks. I'm excited.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Did you get the tie-dye ones?
The tie-dye ones.
Nice.
You know it.
Now, is that the same style that you have right now, or is it a different style?
It's a different style. So I had the Ghost 13s the first time, and those are the ones that presented knee pain when I first put them on. I can run in them now fine.
Okay.
But I put some miles on them things, and they are falling apart.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like miles on the shoes, it's usually about like 200 miles, and they need to get replaced.
Oh, yeah. Well,
or just transition them over into just walking shoes.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. So that's another thing that people have to consider too. That's why we have, like, I rotate. I probably have like anywhere from like 6 to 9 pairs of running shoes that I rotate through, and they all have different. You know, they different just depending. Some are speed shoes for those fast 5Ks that we run, and then some are just like...
She said fast 5Ks that we run. We don't run fast at all.
Yes, you do.
She runs fast. Like...
listen. You're getting a lot faster than 5K a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. Like even when I ran the 4 miles and you guys presented me that
the gift certificate?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I had a brain for it. But when you guys, I think I ran like 12 miles or 12-minute mile pace.
Okay.
And then I think my fastest so far is like 11 minutes. And like this last one was about 11 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah, so the first 5K this year that I ran a couple weeks ago, I ran the first mile and a half straight through, no questions asked, just kept running. And then this second 5K that I ran this year, I ran the whole 5K without stopping. And, you know, I got a little nervous to share that because then I was like, they're going to expect me to do that every time. Like, that was just a fluke. Like, that was me being motivated by breakfast after. Like,
right?
If I can hurry up and get this done
faster.
Right, if I can get this done, I can hurry up and go eat. And, but no, I definitely agree that I am getting faster. But it's not always about speed because, like, I ran the first time when I took breaks and stopped running, I ended up running at a faster pace for that run compared to this one. And I remember sharing that on Instagram, and one of my buddies pointed out to me, like, but you're building endurance.
Correct.
And that's the big key.
Yes.
So outside of, like, good shoes, good socks, because that will also affect your run. Good underwear, because that will affect your run. Like, if you don't have those three, you're gonna have a terrible experience.
You're gonna have some issues.
And something is, so you mentioned GI issues, which I'm sure we'll come back to. But on top of that, what's something else that nobody told me about was, like, bruh, you can't just run in any kind of t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I ran in the first, this is years ago in 2008, 2009, when I first started running 2 or 3 miles, wearing a cotton t-shirt. Ooh, yeah. And coming home with, like, bloody, blistered up nipples and being like, it hurts to take a shower.
I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, jogger's nipple. I was like, in a white t-shirt, one already. Yeah, right. Right. It was a wet t-shirt contest that went terribly wrong because I got these bloody streaks going down my shirt. It was ugly.
That is not, and you'll see that a lot on, like, race days too.
Yeah.
A lot of people suffer from that. Not everybody. And these are like, and same thing, like, some people could just go, you know, like, run like Jason, like madman, just run like crazy awesome, and it doesn't even affect him in any sort of way. And I'm like, dude, how'd you do that?
Right. My nipples was hard as fuck the whole time, and they're just getting rubbed away, like
ow. Yeah, so there's you definitely, I was thinking of something too, but now I lost my train of thought. The shoes, the socks,
the bloody nipples that just threw you off. Like,
it sure did. I don't even remember what it was that I was going to talk about. I was going to bring something up, but forget it.
Oh, but running with water too, like the first time I ran, I didn't I ran with my normal bottle of water, which was super heavy. And it was like, I realized that when I got back, one, I was extra tired from carrying almost 1,500 liters worth of water in my hand.
Yeah.
And then two, I didn't really drink a whole lot on my run.
Right.
So I felt that was kind of unnecessary. I mean, to each his own. Do you run with a bottle of water?
I used to. I was going to touch on that too. What I remember too was the endurance, because you had hit on not every race, every run should be a fast one, which is 100% accurate. And a lot of times for us competitive folks, we like to run like all out speed.
Right.
And that can actually hurt you in the long run, because if you're always doing all out speed, you never give your body enough time to recover, to like rebuild, and also build that endurance that you were talking about, which is 100% accurate. So depending on the types of races that you want to do, or the types of runs that you would like to do, or you're being forced to do, because maybe you don't even want to do any of this. So depending on what that is, you have to design your training plan or schedule around that. And so some runs are going to be sprints, and some runs are going to be where you sprint as fast as you can go, and then you're going to walk, for the same amount of distance or same amount of time. So let's just say you sprint for 2 minutes and then you walk for 2 minutes and just back and forth to help build your endurance.
Right.
And then some are also where you're, like if you're going to be running like a marathon, it's about getting the hours out there, getting the hours out there. So being out there and just running and being outside for 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, because if you're going all out speed all the time and then come on race day, what happens if you're stuck out there for 3, 4, 5, an hour more than what you're used to? Your body's not used to it, so you got to build your body. And that's where like the GI issues come into play. So the GI issues come into play sometimes when you run too fast, or you're running way over what your body's used to, and your system is like, what the yes, and then you're eating goos and your jelly beans and candy, and then you're like drinking all this water, and now your stomach's like bloop 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 bloop. Like it's not a fun situation to be in. But the whole water thing. So we used to, when we first started training for races, we had the fuel belts. Yeah. I could never hold waters or in my arms. I just felt like it was super heavy. Like I just super heavy. So we would use the fuel belts, and that would be used for anything over 5 miles. Anything over 5 miles. Anything under that, you should be able to hydrate enough beforehand to give you enough. But of course, we live in South Florida.
It's hot.
It's hot as hell. If you are running here in South Florida, and if you're running anytime after 6 a.m. in the morning, you better bring something.
Right, bring something.
Bring something, or it's very common that you stash water bottles, or like if you're doing a circle
on your trail,
a loop. It's very common. It's so funny because when you become a runner, you notice these things. When you're starting running, you're like, oh, look at some of these water bottles there, But in any other day, you'd be like, what the hell is that?
Who would litter a full water bottle here?
I know. A frozen water bottle? What's that for?
What are you doing?
But that's what those things are for. And so people do that if they don't want to hold, water bottles. So I always say anything over. When you're starting out, if you're walking, running, carry water with you. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Listen, I give you credit for just getting out there and doing the distance.
Solid, thank you.
So, carry the water with you if you got to stop or whatever. It is what it is. But once you start getting a little bit more experienced, having the fuel belt is great for anything over the 5 miles, especially here in South Florida.
So running can cause GI issues, correct?
Time. Okay. Major.
So I made a terrible mistake.
Please share.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I plan on it. I'm about to overshare. Like you get what you asked for. So I remember getting to the gym and feeling like, okay, like my stomach is a little sour. It doesn't feel too good. And Bree was working the counter. Oh, and I got here like an hour early because I knew I was going to go running and at least get a mile, maybe a mile and a half in before class. So I come in and I felt it in my stomach. I was like, you know what? Let me just be on the safe side.
I remember this day. Because I was like, what happened to Anthony?
Derek was coaching.
Yep, I know this day. Yep. I said, what happened to Anthony?
So I came in and I used the restroom and I was like, I tried to make it quick so it wasn't so noticeable what was happening in there, but like clearly you could tell what was happening. So I clean up, I come back outside and I tell Bree, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go running. I'll be right back. Yeah. She's like, okay. Now like for the mile or to the Embassy Lakes Drive is a half mile and come back is a full mile. So once you get past this plaza, there's no like it's all just open road and the back of people's houses.
You got bushes.
Barely, not enough to hide behind. It's gonna
Especially
be
if you're wearing your
blatantly
neon
obvious.
highlighter clothes.
It's gonna be blatantly obvious someone is back there doing something they shouldn't be doing. That is not allowed in public. So I get just past the light, and I feel that in my stomach, and I was like, oh no. But like I have already gone too far. So it's like, I've started my run on my watch already. So I was like, okay, maybe that was a fluke. just keep going. You know, so I hit my stride again. It's never a fluke. So I hit my halfway point and I start coming back. That's well, I start coming back, and like I get halfway on my way back, and I'm like, oh my god, like now I'm in pain, and I'm getting like the cold sweats, and I'm like, oh my god. So I get here to the light, and I'm laying down on the ground. I'm like, I am fucking dying right now. I was like, I have to go, but it's like I can if I run, I risk making a mess everywhere. But if I walk, it may take too long for me to get to a restroom, and I may make a mess anyway. So I was like, fuck it, let's go with the run option. You know what I mean? So I just hit the light turns red, and I'm able to cross the street, and I start going. And I get here into the parking lot, and Josh is just getting out of his fucking truck, and he waves at me, and I'm like, I gotta fucking go, bro. Like I didn't even say anything. Like I think I made this weird looking, like looked at him like something is terribly wrong. I cranked the engine and I haul ass, and like I remember driving, and Derek's still coaching the previous class, and he looks and we make eye contact, and he texts me, he's like, "You all right, bro?"
No, I'm dying.
I am deathly ill right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so class starts, and I text Brie. I was like, I have to cancel class. She's like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And I was like, yeah, something came up. I didn't have the heart to tell her, like, I almost shit myself, right? But it's like, soon as I was able to sit down in my car, I was able to drive just fine. Like there wasn't like it wasn't like the constant pounding on my sphincter from running. I was like, I am not prepared for this.
Oh my gosh, you poor thing. Listen, we have all had stories like that. All of us. Some of us have not made it to the toilet, you know?
Oh, Lord.
But that is part of running. We've seen things on race day that we were like, oh, okay. They still running, still going. Might have shit their pants, but they're still going.
Hey man, congratulations, big dog. I'm so proud of you. But like, can you step at least 10 feet away from me?
Can you go change your pants, please?
Oh,
now. But yeah, okay, so was it something that you ate? Like, were you ill, or was it just the running part? Did I miss that part in the front?
I think my stomach was already messed up to begin with. That's why I asked, like, does running cause GI issues?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've encountered it on a run, but that was bad.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, so from my own personal experience, especially when we first started running, and I didn't know nothing about running, you know, it was just like, all right, let's just go run. The great thing about running, it is free. It's free, and anybody can do it. And you can walk, jog, run, whatever it is, but it's great fitness, you know, because it's free.
Roll.
Exactly. Whatever works. So when we started running, like we were, you know, getting involved in half marathons and 5Ks, and we're like, let's do this whole running thing. So of course we're researching, asking people, you know, people that have been doing this for a while, like, okay, so what do you do? Shoes, hydration, gels, goos. Gels and goos, what the hell is that? Okay, let's find out about this. So they have gels and goos. Basically, it's just a sugar substance that you would have like on your runs. So you would have this like in your pouch or in your pocket or something like that you would have after 45 minutes if you're going to do a long run.
Gotcha.
The issue is, if you don't take these often, your stomach is like, what the hell is this?
Oh boy.
So now you're running, right? So already now the energies like in your stomach and the muscles in your stomach are like, everything's like moving.
Yeah.
And then you take in this goo, this sweet stuff that you're probably not used to. And then you're drinking water and Gatorade or whatever it is that you're drinking. Eventually that combination just doesn't work and you feel sick. Like
evacuate, like
now,
clear
immediately.
it out.
So I've had experience with that, and I've had experience where I finish races and I'm like, Jason, we gotta go like now. Like we gotta get home. Like a Starbucks is not gonna work. Like we gotta get home now.
This is not a public doo-doo I gotta deal with.
Yeah, like this is like I need to get home. Like now, and listen, We've all, this for the most part, most people have experienced this. They call it the runner's runs. There's actually a name for it. You runner's runs, and that's what it is. And you just get the runs, like your system just doesn't work properly, which is why like endurance races and stuff like that, a lot of times the longer the race, the more chances you have, the higher the chances you have of just getting ill and just feeling sick, because after a period of time, your stomach stops digesting. So the food is no longer going down. So whatever you're consuming, it's no longer digesting in the speed if you were just hanging out, sitting, sleeping, things like that. Because you got to remember, your body's like in overdrive, like you're moving and everything like that. And it's like, try to eat and sprint at the same time. Like it just doesn't work.
Nope.
So yeah,
one or the other. I already know which one I've been choosing my entire life.
The runner's runs. So my advice is take it slow. Don't consume anything that you wouldn't normally consume when you're training. That's the biggest thing. Don't start eating like the day of. People are like, hey, you want to try this? Sure. Let me just take these goos or pills or candies or whatever they are just because everybody else is doing it.
It's like like elementary school Halloween advice. Like, don't take candy from a stranger. Like, we got to inspect this before we eat it.
Yeah,
like,
don't take anything when it comes to running, especially. Don't consume anything that you wouldn't normally consume when you were training. When you were training for whatever it is that you're training for, from hydration to food intake. Don't start changing things. Don't start changing things, which kind of leads into like carb loading, and things like that. I don't know if you heard of carb loading.
I have heard of carb loading, and I made that joke the night of the event. I was like, "Oh, I'm carb loading because tomorrow I'm going to run a 5K."
Right? Yeah, which is the funniest thing, because sometimes people they carb load for like a 5K, but you realize that your body actually has enough in reserves to usually run a 5K. Anything you usually don't. I believe in carb loading, but I also believe in smart carb loading. Not like the night before, like you just have like 2-3 huge bowls of pasta and expect to like
loaves of bread
and expect to perform. Because when you eat like that, how do you feel? Like you feel like heavy.
Heavy, yeah,
like
for
heavy
sure.
as hell.
For sure.
And carbs retain water, so a lot of times the more carbs that you eat, the more water you're going to retain. So the heavier you're going to feel. So you have to be careful. Again, don't do anything you wouldn't normally do when you're racing and stuff like that. So if you are training to do like a marathon or something long distance, just consume the same foods that you did when you were doing your long runs.
Right.
The same thing. Yeah, you may increase just a little bit, but nothing too crazy, and not like crazy like foods either. Like no fried foods. So this is gonna give you the runner's runs.
Okay, that's good, because like I thought we were going back to this challenge where you're like, no more fried foods, and I was
you're like, wait a minute,
lost my mind.
Yeah, no more fried foods.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've gotten past that point. It was like, but I had a flashback for a second.
Yeah.
I remember like the first time I had heard about carb loading was, if I'm not mistaken, it was for the Base the Beast workout.
Yep.
And that Turkey Trot 5K that happened beforehand.
Yeah.
That was I think that might have been the first time I'd ever run a 5K and then worked out.
Yeah.
And that 90-minute workout was intense.
Yeah, that was the inside outside, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one here, inside outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we almost lost you in that one.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I had to come back inside. Like, I'm feeling a little woozy. Sandy's like, here, just sit down, have this little
snack
protein.
pack.
Yeah, all right, save my life. Y'all don't see them stars?
Right? Are those part of the stations? What's going on here?
But then also that 2021 rep challenge.
Yep.
I remember you mentioning like carb loading beforehand.
Right.
Because that was going to be such an intense workout.
Right.
That whole weekend.
Yeah, and I think, so that kind of hits on not just the running part, but also workouts in general. Like if you're planning on doing something that's like a more intense workout, like for example, sometimes we'll get a little crazy and decide that we want to do a 5K or 4 or 5 mile before a Sunday power freaking Coach Amanda weightlifting session. And we're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Let's all do that. Let's all do that on Sunday. And things like that, you do need to be smart about your nutrition.
Right.
And especially if you're someone that normally eats like a pretty strict diet, like I'm just going to put myself out there, like I'm pretty consistent with my food. And usually Saturdays, in the past, Saturdays were days that I kind of fasted because I teach here in the morning. So it would be what I would joke about, my intermittent fasting day, the one day a week that I would do it, because I wouldn't eat anything until like noon. noon, 1 o'clock would be my first meal, and then I would eat like 3 or 4 hours after, and then we'd have like dinner, and dinner would normally be consumed of like a cheat meal type of thing, burgers or pizza or something that we had fun with, and that would be like my day.
And what time would you eat that dinner?
Usually like at 6, 7, like normal dinner time, and then I always have something before bed. Like I always eat something before bed because I'm a early morning workout person, so I don't consume anything before I work out.
Right.
So before I go to bed, like I always have some sort of snack, and it usually has carbs in it because I don't fear carbs at night. Like I eat carbs right before I hit the bed, and it'll be something like that because I work out in the morning, so I need that fuel in the morning to be able to fuel my workouts. So usually on Sundays, if we're doing the run and the workout, like we would consider that kind of like our carb loading or our heavier meal.
Gotcha.
That would carry us through that workout because we're not eating anything before we're working out. So you got to be smart with how you're doing things, and especially if you're a pretty clean eater, you need to be smart and know that, you know what, those clean meals sometimes won't push you in that workout.
Right.
Because what pushes you in those workouts is having the fuel, and the fuel comes usually from carbs, clean carbs. I'm not saying go eat some crazy freaking shit. Let's backtrack. Let's make sure.
Right.
Coach Sandy did not say.
Hashtag disclaimer.
Right? Did not say go eat freaking fried French toast. Yum.
See, now I'm here getting mixed messages. Like,
right?
I'm getting this symbol right here.
Yeah. So it's important definitely to fuel your workouts, which is what I always tell you. Fuel your workouts, and any anything that you're doing, whatever workouts or activities you decide to do, you need to make sure that you are eating properly to fuel those workouts. If you're doing workouts here, HIIT training, CrossFit, running, swimming, whatever it is so important to make sure that you're fueling those workouts.
I used to be a subscriber to the belief that I had to eat before I worked out for these HIIT classes.
Right.
So like my first couple of, I'd say maybe the first couple months of training here with you guys, I was eating my normal breakfast, at least at the time, and then coming to class and feeling sluggish and whatnot. And then because I always had it in my mind that if I go in there and I work out on an empty stomach, I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna be, I'm just gonna die.
Yeah.
But now I can't eat before I come to work out because I feel stronger.
Right.
And more, faster working out without food in my belly.
Right, because it's not holding you down.
Right.
Sometimes it holds you down. And it depends on the person too, because
Right.
we've had a lot of times when people first start working out, I always recommend, I'm like, listen, if you can eat something in your body, you feel comfortable, have like half a banana, have like half a slice of toast with like a little bit of like honey on it, something with sugar in it, just something to have in your system, because this is new to your body, and your body's going to come in here and be like, whoa, what are you doing to me? You trying to kill me?
Whoa,
Wait. Exactly. So it depends on the person.
Right.
And I think once you start learning your body and understanding, that's what it is. Like I never eat before my workouts. And again, like it's important to make sure that you're fueling the day before or 2 days before so that you have those reserves to push you through that workout. So it just depends on each person. Each person's different, and some people have, health concerns and things like that they have to have something beforehand.
Right.
Something a little sweet or a little bit of Gatorade or something to help them, get through those workouts. So it depends on the person.
So tomorrow's St. Patty's Day.
Yep.
Should I carb load today just to get a heads up?
Right? No, it should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no crazy. It's gonna be, how we do it. Everything themed.
All right. Oh no, I'm gonna have all the green on. Like every
all your
shade.
lucky gear. Make sure
50
you have
shades
it all.
of green on.
Make sure you have it all. I told my kids because we have kids class tomorrow. I was like, we're just gonna have a party. We're just gonna eat cupcakes, and you guys can wear your green. You want to come to that class?
I do. I feel like I've earned a cupcake.
Right? I told them, I'm like, listen, guys. We're just gonna hang out and have a party. They deserve it, my little munchkins, right?
I'm gonna come wearing my Shamrock light up necklace.
Nice.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna last throughout the workout, but
yeah, whatever. That's all right. That's
come
all right.
in,
That'll work.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah. So what else is there? And we shoes, socks,
underwear,
shirts,
hydration, right?
Hydration, carbs, carb loading. What else
about
we
form?
got?
Because I know I am an overpronator.
Yeah.
So I know this from, I think back when I tore my ACL many moons ago. Going I think it might have actually been Runners Depot, but in Coral Springs, that did my analysis of me running and was able to tell me that I overpronate. And if I'm not mistaken, that's where your ankles rotate in, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So
have you always had that? Like as a child too? So like when you walk and stuff, or is it just when you run?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. But I think it's something that I've had my entire life.
Yeah.
Because I'm flat-footed too.
Okay.
So
yeah.
There's very little arch.
Right.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
yeah, it does, and definitely, finding that, of course, and that's when it comes down to shoes. Getting the proper shoes, getting fitted, and things like that, because those types of things can hurt you,
right,
and can increase injuries. You got to make sure that you understand how your feet are and how you move and stuff like that. The ideal, running stride is usually toe and down, toe down, toe down, not heel strike where you heel toe. So no heel first. So you try to do toe down to your midfoot and kind of roll down like that. Yeah.
Hey, why ain't nobody told me that? I've been running 5Ks and
yeah, and then the constant like smacking down or like shuffling. Like it's really important to find that right stride. So it's front toe and kind of like a roll type of thing. Like if you
okay, rolling with the homies,
like
right on.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah, but again, there are plenty of people that you can help somebody and direct them on running stride and stuff like that. But when it comes to race day, you're gonna do your thing.
All right.
And sometimes your body changes too. Like for me, when I get because I run on my toes, and trust me, I do get tired, but I have no aches, no pains, no knee pain, no hip pain, nothing. So it doesn't hurt me in any sort of way. So that is how I run. And I didn't always run like that. It just naturally, I fell into that runner's stride. But on race day, especially marathon, long distance, I will change it up. And I'll try and do a little bit less of the toe because it hurts running on your toes. And the front of your foot starts to burn underneath your foot because you're constantly hitting. Your shoe is constantly, hitting. So you kind of have to change it up and see what works best for you, because sometimes we don't even know. But you definitely want to pick your feet up and and lean forward just a little bit. Like lean forward instead of standing up straight upright and trying to move like that. Just lean forward just a little bit. And your hands, usually sprinter is up high. So you're like by your shoulders.
Yeah.
Long distance, 5Ks, if you're not sprinting, it's more by your sides, so almost like by your pockets.
Okay.
So you're supposed to hit like your pockets.
Where the snacks are.
Yeah. Like you're putting a snack in your pocket, running. And then fingers loose.
Yeah.
Loose hands, loose body. Like shoulder.
No fists.
Yeah, no fists, because that's a lot of energy that you're holding, and you need that energy to help you get through that friggin' run. Any little bit of energy helps. And relax. Like your shoulders are another thing. Like just relax, calm down, relax. Just go. The breathing's big, in through your nose, out through your mouth.
See, I struggle with that.
That's hard. Really, really hard. Really, really hard to do. Whenever you get tired or you feel like, oh my God, like I can't go anymore, you take a breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. That's the biggest thing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Even like here in class, like if you're totally like feeling like, oh my God, this shit's like I'm gonna freaking pass out. Through the nose, oxygen gets to your brain faster when you breathe in through your nose and then release through your mouth. If you're constantly going like in through your mouth, out through your mouth, there's like no oxygen is going in. It's a very small amount.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which increases your chance of passing out. So, nose. In through your nose. Big inhale, exhale, through your mouth is the best thing. It's like, when you're having when you're getting anxious, and I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, stop.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. In
through your nose, out through your mouth. Like, calm down. More oxygen gets to your brain, and you can process information. You calm down. So that's the biggest thing. Another thing after racing or running, if you ever feel like sometimes people, especially after half marathons, 10Ks, if you have these things going on and you feel like after the race that you're depleted or you feel like passing out, sit on the ground, legs up up against a fence, against a wall or something like that, because also the blood flow. Because right now everything is in your legs and your feet because you've been running, and everything is below the hips. So lay down, put your feet up, and let that blood now circulate back to your brain. Again, oxygen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Brain feeling a little weak here.
Before you pass out, get down to the ground, raise the legs up, and then and go through and stuff like that. So those things are important too.
Yeah. Hydration,
making sure that you're always staying hydrated is a huge thing. I've said it before in previous podcasts, but weighing yourself when you start running, weighing yourself before you run, especially here in South Florida, big time, because we sweat a lot.
Yeah, I lost 3 pounds because I
Just
did
from
that.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I weighed myself before running, not this most recent 5K, the one before that.
Yeah.
And I lost 3 pounds just
And that's
sweat.
fluids. And that's just fluids. So you got to keep in mind that fluid loss can throw you off. Can throw everything off, in your body. So you want to make sure you're replenishing that, So I always say weigh yourself before you go on your run. Weigh yourself as soon as you're done. And listen, the scale don't lie, okay? Make sure you're weighing yourself in the same way. If you're naked when you weigh yourself, be naked when you weigh yourself afterwards. Don't be having your sweaty clothes on. That's going to add, weight or whatever.
0 cents. Bucket ball
I had to
naked.
explain this to people. Did you
Really?
weigh yourself naked at home? Yes. Well, then what the hell do you think it's going to do here? You're not naked here.
Oh, I was going to say, we could weigh ourselves naked here. Like,
Listen, you can go behind
I'm not taking pictures like that. But
yeah. Put those little emojis on it. Listen.
I don't like the fact that you said little emoji. Like,
oh my gosh.
good stuff.
Yeah.
So how would somebody get into running? Like if someone is, from couch to 5K,
Yeah.
what do you recommend for them?
One thing, there's a lot of apps. There is a Couch to 5K app too that people, and I think it's free. I'm pretty sure it's free. You could join us at Run Club.
Facts.
We won't make you run a 5K every time.
Although there was only 4 of us this past Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
We told everybody there.
Tis the season. Tis the season now. Even here in South Florida, although usually summertime they kind of lay low on the 5Ks and the races because it's hot as hell here. But we do open up now obstacle course racing. That's just a year-round thing. So we do that. But also there's always the 5K. There's always something to run here in South Florida. So the races never end. But to start the Couch to 5K, you don't want to just jump up with your Nikes on that you work out in class and then just go run. I always recommend, usually, especially here, if you're going to run, you got your pair of shoes for your running, and then you change your shoes when you're going to do your workout class. So have 2 pairs of shoes. That way you're not using the same pair of shoes. But honestly, get up, get moving, walk. I always like the method of walk a distance or a time. Pick something that you like. Okay, I'm going to walk for 1 minute. Then you're going to jog for 1 minute. So I'm going to walk for 1 minute, jog for 1 minute. Or, you do your distance. I'm going to walk for 1/10 of a mile, and then I'm going to run for 1/10 of a mile. Those types of things make all the difference psychologically too.
Right.
Or picking a destination like, okay, I'm going to run to that pole, and then I'm going to walk to the next pole. And so that way you're not constantly thinking about like running and, oh my gosh.
I gotta run another 2 point something miles.
Right. And sometimes it's just time. Like today, I'm just going to do 30 minutes outside. I'm going to do 30 minutes, and whatever distance I do is what I do.
Right.
And it's okay to walk, jog, run, or run the whole damn thing.
Right.
Just depends on you. We have good days and bad days.
Right.
Some days you're well hydrated and well carved up, and you can
motivated.
Yeah. And then some days you're like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to go out there because I committed to doing it. I'm going to do my 30 minutes. And that's it. It is what it is. And I did it. Yeah.
That's what I do. Like when I'm usually running down this path to the light and back, or the second light, or the community development, is that, there's certain trees that I'll see. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run to that tree, and then I'll walk from that tree to the next tree. And then once I get to that tree, I'll run again.
Yeah.
And then, just it breaks up the monotony. And, it also helps me get it done faster almost, because I'm just trying to get when I'm doing that, it's like I'm just trying to get this mile done. I'm not trying to build endurance or anything like that. I'm just trying to knock it out.
Right.
But I be needing breaks, man. I'm tired.
I know. But you know what? All those miles, they add up. Those miles add up, and they really do build your endurance over time. Right. Being consistent. Running, you got to be consistent. That's the biggest thing too. It's not something that you can just kind of do for 6 months and then take a break for 6 months and expect to be right back where you were before.
Unless you're Jason.
Right, exactly, which is true. But you got to give yourself, you got to have patience with yourself, forgive yourself. Like if you're not, running as much or as far or as fast as some of your, teammates or peers or whatever, like forgive yourself and know that if I want to get there, I can get there. Sure as hell I can get there. You just have to slowly take the steps to get there to avoid injury.
Right on. Yeah, that's big, avoiding injury.
Yeah, because you don't want that, because then if you do that, then, the worst situation than running.
Right. So again, this goes back to advice that you've given me before. Like, listen to your body.
Yeah, for sure. Have a plan.
Right.
Have a plan. You know, if you truly want to run a 5K or like a serious 5K where the coaches aren't like, run, meet me here tomorrow, you know? If you really want to work on like your speed and being consistent with being able to run a 5K without stopping, which by the way that's huge. Not a lot of people can do that.
Right.
You know, that's a big
Thank
deal.
you.
It should be
Thank you.
praised because that's hard. That's 3.1 miles.
Yeah.
That's far.
Yeah.
You never look at distance the same ever again
No,
either, by the way.
nope.
The more you run, when you're driving, you're like, oh man, I ran that from
Yeah.
here to there. Or when you're like doing 10 miles, you're like, wow, that's from here all the way to the beach.
I'll never again. Like,
Who the hell does that? You know?
y'all choose to do this and your life wasn't in danger?
Things like that. But yeah, having a plan. I always say have a plan. I'm a planner. That's how I train. That's how I do things.
Oh, we know.
I'm not just like a get up like
Fly by night.
Yeah,
Right.
I try to have a plan because I feel like my body functions better. Knock on some wood. I've never been injured from running, from the workouts, other than soreness, minor soreness and aches and pains and things like that, but never been injured from any of this. And I'm very fortunate for that. And I give a lot of credit to having a plan and
Right.
following through that plan, regardless of what everybody else is doing. Because sometimes we have that pressure.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, you know, they're all running 4 miles today. I have to run 4 miles too. But my plan tells me I'm only supposed to run a mile today.
Right.
So that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because those 4 miles will come eventually.
Yeah, that was I think my first 5K this year was supporting Jason and Pablo when they were
Yeah.
doing the 4x4x48
Yeah.
challenge. And you know, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're doing 4 miles." I was like, "Sweet," because I'm only doing 3.1.
Right? I'll see you guys at the end.
Right. And then we got in front of you guys just because of the
Yeah.
path that we had, and we were
Yeah.
like, and me and SB,
We're like, we're coming for you.
Here
they come.
Let's clap for them. We should go live right now and be like, "Look, we did it!" You know?
Yeah,
But-
that was fun. Those are good
It
times.
was good.
Good times. Start running. Let's go.
Running. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. We're going to be running from now until forever. See you later.
Bye, guys. Peace.